Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Lori.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, Scarlett.
Good morning.
Good morning, Scarlett. Just blew out my eardrums.
Oh, I just about as I was ready to turn on the mic, he started screaming, so I had to wait for a second. You missed the really good stuff.
Seems like I got the tail of it. No pun intended.
That's funny.
Well, good. At least you're in a cheerful mood, so that's a good thing.
More minute at Dark Zone. Wow, that went fast. I guess that does that when you don't get on right at the moment it opens, or you're not on until afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's like, hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Oh, Dark Zone's over like 10 minutes ago.
That's low new 10. I don't think it's much. I think it's going to rock the markets too much. But we need to be aware. That dark zone is over. Let the trading begin. I should say let the setups begin. There is a new wall on ES. I just put it in. Let's see, what is it? 41.32.50. Show up on your charts, and I think it's around 15, within 15 minutes maximum. I think that's the time that it checks it. I can't remember for sure. Oh,
Intrabar Scalp YM.
Wow.
Can we get in it?
Good.
All right, 65 long.
Order submitted.
I missed the entry. Darn it.
Got it. Yay.
Order
I love
canceled.
That.
I missed the entry. Bummer.
2 minutes in. I guess we should have said, you said the entry. We didn't say long in case nobody really gets it, but I mean, for those of them that don't get it. Well, that's a way to start out a morning. Thank you, YM.
Yeah, it'd be a better way if I would have got in it.
That was huge.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't, usually I count, and I just was like, yeah, I want this. I'm shoving it in there. I don't even know what I got, but I did get the full 10 ticks a couple of times over, so yay.
And by the time I grabbed my mouse, it was like the trade was over.
Yeah, it did go fast, for sure. I had to get out of sim mode. I was like, I'm not going to be able to get in. But I did. Yes, Grant, 75, and I don't remember what the other one was, but it was big.
It was 75 and 30.
Okay, 75 and 30. That is absolutely in your face. Nobody has to wonder, well, is that a good one? Yeah, you don't have to wonder on that one. And it had a cluster. So, yeah, that was amazing. You'll learn the Inrabar Scalp in here as we're going at this point. Potential Lorex. I like this one. Shoot, RTY. I have to get out of him to get it. Didn't do it. I couldn't get that one. Did anybody else get that on RTY? I don't even know if I called the market on it.
No.
Moving too fast. 1928.4 was the entry. That was really pretty. Wait for a retrace and looking for another entry. I really like that one. ETX here at the RTY, that would be so sweet of you. Please. Oh, it's actually trying. Still doing it yet, but it's trapped orders on the bottom. Not righty.
Sorry, it was 75 and 12.
Say what?
It was 75 and 12. The numbers on that Inrabar Scalp.
Oh. Wow. Well, still, 75 and 12 is huge. Not quite 30, but it's still big. I'll take it. Well, I did.
I'll miss it. I did.
Can you hear Scarlett laughing? He just laughed at you.
Oh, I'm breaking up?
No.
That's what somebody's...
I don't... Okay, somebody else is saying it. I don't hear you breaking up. Not for me.
That's because I'm falling apart because I missed that trade.
I would be. I love that one.
Okay, somebody else is saying, okay, I guess I'm going to go out of the room and come back.
Idea. Going into a wall. Make sure you can profit before you get into a wall, before you run into any obstructions between you and your profit. That's the key.
Is this better?
You got to keep talking.
Okay. What would you like? Well, let me finish crying first, and then I'll start talking. Sounds better? Okay. All right.
When you exit HotCom, do you go into your task manager and shut down the process? Make sure it's completely shut down before you start it up again?
You don't want to know my process. I shut it down, turn off my computer, throw it against the wall, pick up the pieces, put it back together, log back in, turn back HotCom. How's that?
All that fast.
Mm-hmm. Happens very quick. Just make sure you have plenty of crazy glue around. So do I need to go into the task manager thingy? I've never actually really looked at it, to be honest.
If you're exiting out of the room after having trouble, then yes. RTY is no. Never mind.
Okay, I'll do that again. Just make a note.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's one component in HotCom that takes a while to shut down, so I always go into the processes, not the first group in your task manager.
Yeah,
but
not
you
the
go to
apps. You're talking about
next
the you're talking about the process, not the
Yeah.
app. Yeah. I gotcha.
and then make sure that there's two of them in there. One usually will shut itself off easily. The other one, I always make sure and manually kill. Otherwise, you got to wait like a minute or two before you log back in.
Does it call it's called HotCom as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes one of those gets a little corrupt, and then that's when I get. That's when I'm told I get in out sound.
It's funny. That's the first time I've ever had to exit the room.
We really hey SLZ, it's almost part of a crash, so RTY watch for maybe a TX setup here. It's not doing it, and it's not an actual crash, so it's not a trade I would want to be in. It could go up and give you profit, but yeah, no, I don't think so. But I was really hoping for Lorex or something to go with that, my favorite. Off this mini magnet would be good. Right off this one, right? Well, went right through it. Nope. Okay.
Okay, I just want to point something out, which I'm sure is like blatantly obvious. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see it. It's so in your face. On NQ, the rose wall that's at what is it, like 12604? So, and I've been watching this for a while. So just this area in general, the 604, 600, now 599.25 where green ice is, just it's. I wouldn't be surprised if we either hang out here a lot today or we come back to this point a lot today. It's been in the past where I took some simplicities just out of the blue that the 600 mark was a target, and then price just hung out there for a while. So just an observation.
Well, that would be why the wall is rose. It's huge. Look at that last bounce off it on NQ. Bounced off and just dove straight down to the depths of the ocean. Right back to it. Wow. Our scalp, I just love those.
Patrick, if you go to your dashboard, your Apex dashboard, well, actually, I'm assuming you have a funded account, Patrick, if you're looking for a Rhythmic ID. So
Lorex, RTY, to close this down.
So if you go to your dashboard, you do not. Okay. Eval account. So you have an eval account or you do not have an eval account?
34.3, if it closes short and holds everything. RTY. No, it seems like every time you're answering a question, it sets up something. So maybe just, guys, ask more questions so Ron can answer, and then maybe I can call some more.
That's so funny. It's like, yeah, every time you ask a question, let me start answering it so we can get interrupted by a call for a trade. So I'll never get the question answered. Oh man, that's funny.
My apologies, but
Oh
yeah.
no, it's perfectly fine. It's I'm kind of punchy this morning anyway. I have like no sleep, so again.
How you do it. I mean, once in a while does me in, but yeah, you get that a lot.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten used to sleeping like 2 hours a night. And not a contiguous 2 hours, might I add, right? So you just 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there.
Dogs decided he wanted to go out at 4 o'clock this morning, and I was like, yeah, I get up and let you out in your history, buddy. He laid right back down.
William, if I move to a different time zone, I'm still only going to get 2 hours of sleep. Doesn't really matter what time zone I'm in.
Got here, RTY, no cluster yet. I don't like it. Back to settlement. Alrighty then. Forex trying to form on YM, but I don't like where the cluster is.
It's funny, we finally were supposed to try to get a break from that rose wall and 600 level to go up to the top just to be greeted by settlement.
I know, right? Yeah, that's a lane 2. It is a valid ETX, but it is a lane 2. It's got no confirmations. It's just a plain old ETX, which is one of the better plain old trades.
I didn't say I wasn't awake.
That TX or almost Lorex did really good on YM. It was too strong of a trend to actually take it with any faith, but it's kind of pretty with the cluster there. But I didn't call it and stayed out on purpose.
Yeah, no kidding, right, Greg? I mean, literally, it just like touched settlement and like just pulled the rug from underneath it.
Eight and 18. Ooh, that's not bad. Oh, it didn't last. Chance to get it. Oh, way to think positive, Jeff.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Great.
What in
Same
the world?
day as yesterday. I hope I lose less. Reminds me of Eeyore.
Give that guy a mic.
Slow down a little bit, see what this news is going to do. It's just low impact, but almost like it's waiting to see what it's going to do. Done that for a long time. Jumps around at 10 o'clock. I don't want to be in right at 10 though myself. Low impact, it's, you got two of them, it's better to stay out and observe the dark zone. At YM. Yep, Grant. Good time to go get a coffee refill. Where do you save money when you listen? Well, we try. That's kind of why we're here, to keep you out of some ick and get into some good stuff, hopefully. Why does the mini magnet on the 30 have any interest as a pullback or down, leaving a wick? No idea. Honestly, the 30 tick mini magnets are much harder to gauge because there can be some big numbers. It's like ES. You don't want to try and do intrabar scalps on ES because the volume is crazy. So what are the numbers needed? I don't know. That's why I don't do 30 tick. Is it enough to pull it back down? Maybe, maybe not. Well, for me, if I don't know, I don't touch it. I haven't watched the 30 tick so close as I have the 10 because obviously I'm trading the 10, but I mean, those intrabar scalps, I've been doing those for years and years, but I could never quite, I mean, I knew I liked the big numbers on the mini magnets, but I didn't know what else. So I could never really say much because I don't like to just put it out there and not have any other clues. I think since our second live event, I've been trying to be able to teach those, but started calling them in the room, then it becomes a little more evident what's going on, what I'm seeing, help find them. Moving it.
Well, I can tell you one thing that I've observed about the 30 tick and 10 with regards to mini magnets. So if you have a 30, if you look at RTY now, for example, and you look at the 30 tick that's at 954, I'm sorry, 955.28 on that bar. And then if you look at the 954.30 10 tick bar, those mini magnet numbers will match up. And as long as that doesn't get taken out, those mini magnet numbers will stay matching up. Because remember, it takes 6 bars of one direction, of the same direction on a 10 to close out a 30. So if the bar didn't close the opposite direction and it kept going, then the mini magnet that was left and the numbers that are on the 10 will match the one on the 30. And the same thing would be if it was going short. How's that for a confusing description of stuff?
Good.
Perfect. That's good, Grant, because that's the way you should be trading IBS. It's off the OP chart.
Let's see. Chris, is it an invalid TXF trade? Yes, that's invalid because there are obstructions. For TFX, you must not have obstructions. Smart, Chris, you're doing good. Ask the questions. Good job. Set up something here. You got everything Xbox or I mean, there we got that. Come on, give us a just not going to. Campus 1 and 23 is a little bit iffy. If it had something to go with that 23 other than a 1, that's better. You're going to have a 1 on one side. You want the other side to be huge. If both sides are a little bigger, then you can have smaller numbers but still be bigger. That makes sense. Like 17 and 24 is good, but 17 and 1 is not. Five is awesome. Validation on NQ, if you look at the 30 tick. And still again, what's the deal? Wow, lots of ZOIs right at that wall at, what is it, 2, and now it's moving, can't even see it, 257-ish. And good Intrabar Scalp setting up for a minute on RTY, but it went away. Turned out good. It's not one I would like, Bob, because it was a real hard, fast downtrend with almost no wicks. That doesn't give me any faith for that setup, since you have to get your full profit, since you had a huge trend going short with no wicks in it. PXF on that YM1, the DR was red, so it wouldn't have been valid. Does not have ATX on the 30, so it's not a full Lorex. No, it does.
But that cluster is like, ugh.
On a ZOI.
Yeah, but you got two of them. Got an interesting Lorex on YM.
I was in it. Whew, that was scary when it went way up there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay. I can breathe again. Oh, man. I was holding my breath. Because it was it laid that cluster on the ZOI. I love those. So I took it.
Was that a cluster on the ZOI on the 10 or on the 30? Or both, actually?
Not on the 10 for sure. I don't have my 30 ZOI.
Yeah, the 30 ZOI is right there. It's right. I mean, like literally engulfing it.
Yay. I took a double scalp on it. I just wanted out after all that. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the only problem with that one is the stop might would have had to have been above the mini magnet off the 30.
I mean, was it not totally valid? I mean, it was a full Lorex.
Oh no, it was
everything.
valid. Just like the one
Right?
that just showed up right now, long, that I'm talking and missing because I'm talking. Darn it.
Maybe I missed that one too.
Okay. Less talky, more tradey.
Well, that's why I try to talk about what I would like to see or what's setting up, so it'll bring your attention, and if it does set up, you can get in. If it doesn't, next kind of thing. But wow, that was really pretty on YM. I totally missed that one.
Yeah, well, you and me both.
Dim here. Okay, they're both setting up right now. RTY is not quite done setting up. Oh, it's also getting to look like a Intrabar if it does its thing. Just took it out. Never mind.
Order submitted.
Our scalp RTY.
Order filled.
I was going to say, don't do me like this, man. Keep going north.
I know, right? Got in this one, RQI?
Yeah, I'm in it. 1935.5 long target. 36.5.
Get up there.
There we go. Come on.
That one was a little too, I was hiding behind that mini magnet at 34.5. That was getting a little sketchy there.
Are you out of it? I'm still in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm out of it. I got in a little further down, so I got out early. I didn't like the way it was. I got out with 8 ticks instead of 10. I guess I didn't even realize I was.
There we
Order
go.
filled.
Now I'm out.
There you go. You got the full thing.
I'll take it.
Works. Yay. Can't handle any more oxygen deprivation. I had to get out. 9/11, it looks, oh, it just went away. I was going to say 9/11's not horrible. Well, that was 3 for 3, so yay. Or did we have, I have no idea. As soon as it's over, it's like cleared out of my head. It's a reset for the next one.
All I care about is to chalk up the check mark in the W column.
I'm quite happy with the day.
Maybe here's another potential. Nope.
Like I need to walk around and shake that off, just holding my breath so much.
Well, come join me on the treadmill, Lori. There's room for everyone.
I nearly spit my coffee out. That sounds dreadful. I could walk and look for trades at the same time. That would take too much talent. I don't care if there's a dynamic magnet there or not. Might just reinforce its oscillation. We like it when it oscillates on an intrabar scalp. That's the whole premise of taking profit inside one bar, that it's going to oscillate. And that's why we love a cluster on it, because a cluster bars, if you look back, you will see almost every cluster bar has a wick. It's not every single one, but take a look back. Every cluster, nearly every cluster bar has a wick. And that means it oscillated. Does that mean you can just take any old cluster bar for an intrabar scalp? No, because it might have oscillated before it got that cluster. That cluster gets laid at the end.
I'll add to that not only a cluster bar that has a wick, but every cluster bar with a mini magnet has a wick.
true, Craig. Oh, 20 and 2. And then 2 and 17. It just totally blew that roll, huh? RTY's got the same, approximately the same numbers on both ends. Yeah, we don't touch that. I don't care what the numbers are. You don't touch it.
Yeah, Greg, that particular rose level, that one especially.
Yeah, I did increase the width of that to 3 because that's just a really, really big one. Dang it, Jeff, now I'm getting hungry.
Hungry. Is it lunchtime already?
Yeah. I generally don't eat before I trade, so now just mentioning ice cream. Yeah. Why is the pink wall so strong? I don't know. It just is. And it's technically a rose wall, and the reason I say technically a rose wall is because there is one pink wall in the whole thing. In all of NQ, there is one pink wall, and I think it's a width of 4 probably. It's huge. But pink is the absolute strongest. Rose is the next strongest, and you just won't see actually pink very often. Ooh, or no, so 10 and 10, but it doesn't have a cluster, and 4 and 8 is really too close to 10 and 10. So yeah, not RTY for an intrabar. But I generally will, the walls that are really strong for whatever reason, I don't even remember when I put that in there, why I put it in. I have no idea. But it doesn't really matter. All we need to know is that, yeah, it's strong. It's huge. Do not trade into it with that in between you and your profit. 10 and 10, what numbers am I referring to? I'm referring to RTY on the lower mini magnet on the current bar. The numbers on the OP chart are 10 and 10 on that lower mini magnet. And the upper one has 8 and 6. Those are too close together to get an intrabar scalp off it. Now we got an 8 and a 14, but again, it's not anything. I mean, it doesn't mean it. I'm just constantly watching those numbers. Oh, yeah, the rose wall is huge. And you'll see on NQ, it laid that mini magnet on the 10 and the 30, just like a tick above the rose wall, and took a few minutes to decide to go, but it just dropped. No, the 30 I just used to. I want to see the micro picture. That's the 10 tick. I want to see the 30 tick because it's a little more of a macro picture, bigger picture. Example of what exactly? Oh, you're talking about the numbers. Right now, YM, it's 1 and 2. Because if you look at the order print order print chart, the top, there's only one mini magnet on that bar, and it's at a 1 and a 2 currently. That doesn't mean anything. I'm just telling you that's an example. That's what I'm looking at. It's nothing. Now we got a 1 and a 2 and a 6 and a 1. Those are totally irrelevant numbers. They don't mean anything for an intrabar scalp. They're too little. We don't care. But that's the numbers I'm looking at. 1 and 2 and 6 and 1 on YM. And it does have a cluster. So if they'd be bigger and one was standing out way more than the other, then we could go toward that one. It's not an indicator, it's a separate chart. If you look on the room charts, you'll see one chart with just one bar, an order print bar, and that shows the details inside that bar. You can't really have that on your sniper chart because it's just too detailed, you can't see it. Where do you have to stop? I usually hide behind an order print something. But that's one thing. I don't have a set stop. I mean, I use my ATM from my sniper, actually, to be honest, but I move it wherever I need it. Gold for simplicity. Sniper, you can trade with a silver. It has the basics. So you have to have gold to have, I believe you have to buy the Wealth Summit to have the Lorex. But you have to have the silver will get you sniper. And gold gets you pretty much all the other indicators, most of the other indicators. There's CJ to the rescue. Okay, so do you see the YM? It has, you didn't know what chart that was. If you look at the room charts, you can see those numbers. And if someone's putting in questions that haven't got answered, we are watching charts. You just put it in again. We don't ever ignore anybody on purpose, but we are trying to trade and call trades, which takes watching the charts more than watching the chat. Seeing that, got a lot of newbies in case you feel like they're not answering my question, but they answered one that came in afterwards. Yeah, that's just because we luck of when we looked up. And close them up so you don't have that going, because you're maxed out on your computer or something. They're working on that, Antonio. I thought RTY was looking like it wanted to set up for an intrabar, but it didn't ever retrace away from it. I think it is. If it's not, it is now.
Very select few people are having issues with that.
Okay. Are you on the maybe 27? Ninja 27 point something? Could that be it? I mean, I'm totally guessing, but.
Well, maybe people are not going to like the answer Greg just posted.
Okay. Because it's so, code is so simple and he doesn't know. Hey. Well, thank you for that, Greg.
I thought Greg was onto something when he said it might have to do something with the mouse driver.
set of conditions that two people have, and no idea what that's about. Greg? Bounce here? I doubt it, since RTY is right close to settlement, but it could still bounce down before it goes back up. Oh, if YM sets up here, this is really pretty. Nope, not so much. Never mind. For a split second. Again, so YM, if this closes down and holds everything, I actually like it. Got nothing in the way before profit. I wouldn't go far down. I wouldn't want to trail it. Okay, it gave away anyway, so no biggie. But because RTY is pulling up so close to settlement, I wouldn't expect YM to just go hurtling short if it did set up there, but it never did, so never mind. And stopped out on that one. Stop has to be behind the reversal bar, unless it went down further yet. But from what you show on there, you should not have been stopped out.
Lori, look at the stack of eye blocks on the RTY10.
RTY, where? I don't have any.
You don't see all those eye blocks?
No, I don't. Where do you have them?
1, 2, 3. I've got one at 1946, 1946-2, 1946.
Old ones. Yeah, I got them. Sorry. Settlement area. Yeah, okay, I got them. Wow. That is a lot. And you see they're spread out around settlement. So what are we probably likely to do when we're in this area? Pop quiz.
Second word is salad.
Yeah, Michelle. 18, 12. That looks like it good.
It does, because it goes up there in the chop, so 45.4. I don't know if it's going to retrace
so
enough.
45.3.
Order submitted.
To buy if it doesn't take out the 18.14 first. It took it out. Never mind. Take your entry
Order
out.
canceled.
You put it in.
Yeah, that would have been a great place for an Inrabar Scalp just because of where the mini magnet was between all those eye blocks. If it would have retraced, it would have been a great entry.
Yep. I have to agree. Because in this case, settlement is actually your friend because it's going through the middle and it's likely to oscillate because this time it's likely to oscillate because we have all those eye blocks around it and the paw. And so with the cluster being right on settlement, that also makes it want to oscillate. So if it would have went down to actually pick us up before it got rid of the mini magnet, that would have been awesome. Now, normally, just because it's at settlement does not mean it's an automatic good intrabar scalp. So this is, you got to pay attention to exactly what's happening here. And there's lots of, I mean, just before Ron said something about the intrabar scalp, I said something about chop. So chop is actually kind of good for intrabar scalp. You have to look at the environment exactly. And YM is at red eyes. You're right. YM's at red eyes, and Q's the pink, rose wall, and RTY's at settlement. So they're all at a pretty major, they were at a pretty major area. So that's kind of good because they're all more likely to be in sync. They're stepping to be in sync, and you can kind of watch and see one might follow a little faster than or one might lead a little faster than the others. $34K has been similar to the rose wall. Okay, that's good to know. There, for a wall. Why don't I? Yeah, institutional block orders. We always just call them blocks for short. Yep. Yeah, I put that in as a wall level 3, width 3. Yeah, a lot of times I do have walls at the 0, 0 levels, and sometimes I just do you have your computer set to hibernate or go to sleep or whatever? If you are away from your computer, that would cause your charts to have an issue. Intrabar scalp on YM, if it goes away up to 12, your entry would be at 12.
Order submitted.
Right here. A cell down to 402.
Order canceled.
Got in because you would have been able to get in right when I said that. I couldn't. I didn't lay it down fast enough. It would have won. The Lorex is a trade setup, yes.
It's funny, as we were talking about it, I placed the order, and as I placed the order, price shot right back down below me.
Yeah, I didn't get in. It didn't. I was like probably a tenth of a second too late.
Same with me.
10 ticks, intrabar scalp. 9 ticks, You want to be out one tick actually before the actual mini magnet, because if it hits the mini magnet, then it usually has engaged your take profit. Because if it just hits that price level, it doesn't always engage your take profit. So I always set it one tick in front of the mini magnet. But you got it then, Jeff, right?
Yeah, the problem with that, Jeff, is I'll hit buy market and I'll get 10 ticks of slippage and I'll end up losing 2 ticks on the trade. So no thanks.
11, say 10 and 11 aren't bad, but now the bottom side on RTY has 4 and 7. Yeah, no. And there's no cluster yet either. Settlement's going through the bar, but you got to have a cluster. It's probably not going to go. Be a hot com problem. No, they would be a you problem, or everybody would have issues. At 10 and 1 at 11. Good. I'm glad you did. Patience pays. Remember, our job is to have patience and wait for that awesome setup and pick the ticks right out of the air rather than keep chasing them with just ordinary, iffy, non-confirmed setups. Now, if you're brand new, you got to learn the basics, so you got to take them. But once you've got them down, you want to be learning how to read the market and which ones to avoid and which ones to get in. Alman, if you have very many things up accessing the internet at one time, it could be almost a throttle problem with somebody's throttling back your bandwidth. You just might not have enough bandwidth. If you've got anything up that requires the internet, get it down off your computer, preferably off anything while you're trading. is setting up a nice little Lorex. Set that up. Catch, Bob. Thing that I didn't like is it's just a little bit above that stack, so it's probably going to test it. You need to have your stop below the stack if you're in it, because it could very well test that stack and then go the other direction. That's kind of a little bit bigger stop. Right, there's no absorption or OPR, so if you didn't get in, you're trading well. You did a good job.
I just don't like what NQ is doing to stay out of it in its entirety.
Noticed that when I called it, sorry. Had time to get out at break even if you want, because there's no absorption X. Likely have a chance to do it again. Yeah, it's got to get through the wall to get profit. So I don't love that part. And it did lay a mini magnet right on it. It looks like that could hold. Now you've had a couple chances to get out at break even, so might be a good thing to do if you have the absorption X. Get in, and I am not gonna try. Got a cluster on this bar, so, and your mini magnets are pretty close to the same numbers, so it's probably going to oscillate here a little bit. Yeah, you know how much I love that. The mini magnet is pink while it's being formed. That means it's okay. Now, if you want out of this trade, here's a good. Oh, there you go. If you didn't get out, you just won. If you had another chance to get a break even, if nothing else. The mini magnet's always pink while it's forming on the bar. Once the bar closes, it changes color. I liked the fact that it was going off that stack, but I didn't like the fact that it did not have an absorption X, which I didn't notice right away. So, yeah, that was a nail biter.
Now RTY on the other hand.
Under the stack, which makes it bigger, which is that buy. So I got to admit, I probably would have got out at break even.
RTY on the other hand set up a Lorex long. Not a really ideal place for it, but
Definitely not a lane 4 on that one. That YM definitely was not. Okay. Donnelly, you need to reload the template on your OP chart. You could have accidentally put in the ES template. Definitely reload the template because you might have a different definition of the cluster on that template. If you did not put in the template when you made that OP chart, you might not have the correct setting. So if you reload the template, that cluster will probably show up. RTY at 1047. Yeah, that was a valid Lorax, wasn't it? I missed it. Kevin, if you're not feeling it, get away from your charts or get into Global Sim. Generally, that is a headspace you don't want to be trading in.
Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Especially if you took 2 trades and you were break even on both. Just stop, because you could take the next one. You can take a loser, and then you're gonna start chasing, and it just leads down the wrong path.
Where are you? You disappeared.
Who, me?
I don't hear you in the ER.
You do or do not?
Do not.
Huh. Somebody turn off my mic?
I don't know.
Okay, now YM's probably going to go through this level because so now it's likely to go through it.
Okay, somebody turned off my mic. Who was it?
Who turned off your mic? You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I haven't heard anything about a live event yet. All the time, so I don't even notice it anymore. I haven't heard anything about a live event. I don't know. Really, they're pretty early in the year, so at this moment, I'm thinking, yeah, I hope not this spring because, that would be tough to get ready for. Last year was kind of a last-minute thing that, wow, that was hard. That would be so much fun, Thor, but dang, what am I going to do with my animals that long?
Charter a private jet for them.
For them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so just bring all the fur babies along.
That's the whole idea.
Okay. That would be fun getting Jammer into a jet.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of C-130s for rent.
I gotta admit, they are the best. My fur babies. Of that, Thor. apologize for posting charts. Never ever apologize. You are doing great to post. That entry was not valid because it did have a the obstruction. The mini magnet is definitely an obstruction. Sure, jammer would race only if he's going toward food. It wasn't even a 2 because it was a 1 basically, which is a non-trade because it had an obstruction. Those basic setups cannot have obstruction. It's extremely important, and I know that kind of contradicts what I call, because what I call is well confirmed, and it's not the plain. So the plain number 2's basic trades, because I don't never have taken those. I don't like them, but yeah, and the multi-confirmed ones can handle some obstruction. A lot of times I will cancel my order if the cluster moves. Yeah, I'll get it out of there because I don't want it.
Look at that Inrabar Scalp on YM. Oh boy.
Oh, I like that. Entry is at what, 87.97, going short.
Order submitted.
Our scalp.
Order canceled.
I'm not in it yet.
Closed up. I'm out. I'm not. I took my order out. Wow, it won.
Oh, I won it. Woohoo! Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I pulled my order out once the bar closed.
I actually got in there because I was like, yeah, this is going down to take it out. So I just got in better. I like it. I'll take it.
I missed my original entry, but again, I know we don't have a set of rules yet, but I have my own. If the bar closes, I'm looking for the next trade.
And then that's normally really good. The only thing I liked about it was it had that really thick wall going through it, extra thick wall, well, 3400. That to me is a oscillation. It's kind of like it's forcing an oscillation. And so, and then you had red ice above it. So for me, I got in right at that 3400, and then my stop was behind the red ice. And I could barely get my take profit moved in time to get it out at the mini magnet. In fact, my trail, I had to shove up there, and it got a few more ticks yet. So I kind of liked it. But yeah, for a ordinary, typical, you'd have to have your stop way up there because other things are pulling it up. It's likely to get down there, but okay. So smart, Vegas. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Lunch is on you.
Great. Yes, you put a chart up there, but I don't see a trade. I don't see a setup. It bounced 4 times. Yeah, you're pointing that out. Good observation there, but I don't see a setup anywhere. I have a couple of TX on the 30 tick, but there's no TX on that one anywhere. The star 5 didn't have a ZOI with it, so there's no setup that I see. So, yeah, I would not take that because there's nothing to take. No. Just because it bounces 4 times does not mean you take the trade. Oh, heck no. Or I would say ask that in the TA room. It is almost, nope. Never mind.
Didn't retrace enough, and the numbers weren't just big enough. Just trying to read your mind, Lori, even though you didn't say much.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be in my head, that's for sure. You'd be stuck between two brain cells, and that would be dangerous because they're constantly fighting with one another. So,
If YM would put in a full Lorax here, I would love it, although I don't love the 18-1.
I could still put a full Lorex just a little bit farther down in the bar.
Right. It could go down, take out the 18-1, then put a Lorax there.
And while it's going down where the 18-1 is, throw a cluster, then set up to go long.
Yes, agree. That would be the ultimate yummy trade. But no, wouldn't want to do that.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Lori, YM is closed for takeout orders, by the way. Lori is making something in her microwave oven.
I had to go put some water in for tea, yes. Really almost rainy and dreary and icky here, so yeah, I need tea. At 72 on NQ30 tick. Not that it's worth. I mean, it's not something you would scalp, but it's like, wow, that's a nice big number. I wish we could see that on our 10 tick in R2I. Well, I don't know if you call tea a snack, but yeah.
Now I'm really getting hungry.
Right, I'm still like having issues from Jeff's ice cream suggestion.
Yeah, but it's only 8 o'clock here. Well, I mean, 8 o'clock, my day's already half over, right? So.
Oh, I hate when that happens, Brandon.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not a fan.
Rose level for NQ. And you got the thicker line at 12,620 on NQ, and then you've got a regular wall, just a regular old dashed wall, right in between them. I mean, and it is just loving those on NQ.
Yeah, I think settlement is calling them.
Just clueless. Say what?
I said I think settlement is calling NQ.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. The Explorex was not a good idea with that big of a trend going up. Not a lot of wicks. Yeah, you don't want to go against that ES. Nothing here. It's let's see, Chris. Your setup was actually HD also, so that's nice. It was an ETX because it laid a paw within 2 ticks of a ZOI. So it was a HD ETX, which is pretty darn good. Not a bad setup, Chris. Thanks for posting. That was anybody who posts charts and asks questions goes to the head of the class. Ooh, 11 and 11 RTY. Gotta watch that. Cluster on RTY. We need for it to go to, let's see, 51.4, but it has to have a cluster first. It didn't go down to get it. It didn't get a cluster. Okay. time RTY got the cluster, the setup was gone. Have a good one, Chris. In an OPR Intrabar Scalp, what do you mean? Sure, what you're asking, Grant. It has to be a mini magnet. If you're asking if you can exchange a mini magnet for OPR, absolutely not. A little big HD on RTY, good catch. No TX yet, just an exhaustion box and a paw. And it looks like it has OPR also on RTY. And it kind of touching back to test that ZOI mini magnet burger there. In a trapped order. RTY is trying to set up long, but it's not doing it so far. It does not have the trapped orders. And then have trapped orders on the 30 or 10. On the burger, it looks really, really good if they would just give us the trapped orders. RTY. do it. I was reading that. I was like, Grant, what the heck are you talking about? And then it dawned on me, in your face, Magnet. I like it. Donnelly, what kind of setup are you talking about? Because it does make a difference. A basic setup, clusters to the left, definitely make a difference. A Lorex, clusters to the left, depending on how the Lorex is set up, aren't such a big deal. No, I definitely would want a lane 4 to go against all that stuff. I am short, Intrabar Scalp.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't like it. Yeah, thanks, Dolly. I'm usually the one to walk out of trades. Don't ask me why, but
Yeah, I have to say thank you on that one. I didn't take it either since you didn't like it. So, yeah, there's no excitement around here when the chewy guys come, is there? Mm-mm.
Yeah, the numbers were marginal at best. There was a small mini magnet forming on the opposite end. NQ was trying to get away from the rose wall to the north. It's just too many things that, I mean, I usually look for one thing that I don't like to stay out of a trade, but I had like 3 or 4. So, flip side to that though now is a short on RTY interbar scalp if we get a cluster.
Yeah. And it's back in that same area that it was before, the last RTY.
Yep.
It was setting up. I like the area because it's causing, the area alone is enough to cause a little more oscillation than, but no.
Now I don't like it at all.
Yeah, not at all right now because both sides are big and no cluster.
And remember what I said before, settlement was calling on NQ, so anything short at this point is highly questionable.
Yeah, you're a lot better at looking at NQ for a confirmation or X factor.
Yeah, I'm finding that it works, Lori, which is why I'm more vocal about it as of late.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't take it, because I trust you what you see. Totally, love it.
Well, thanks. No pressure.
No, it's all good. You can't always see everything all the time, and when you say pressure, yeah, you guys have no idea the pressure calling trades is. Because you're like, what am I missing? If it fails, what am I missing? And it's like you gotta call it fast at the same time. So it's very, very difficult. You have no idea. Robert, I would not use an eval account to trade TXF. I love that you're focusing on one thing, but I would tend to go to the next one. Like that TFX that you just posted a little while ago had everything, and you were right. It had everything. It was an ETX. It was an HD. So it stacked a bunch of things in its favor. An actual FTX is the most basic trade, and it's going to lose more than any other. Not that it's bad, but the other ones are a little bit stronger.
And you would have to grind the market a lot with just a regular TX trade. I mean, if you're dead set on trading an eval account, then just trade 1 micro, literally just 1 micro, which I don't recommend anyway, like Lori just said. But I mean, if you have to do something and you have to feel that urge, then just trade 1 micro, because you won't hurt yourself too bad. No, Damien, today's actually been a pretty good day. Oh, Jan, I was saying that if you find yourself that you have to trade an eval account, and you're the type of trader that just no matter what, you just have to be in the real money kind of a thing, and then just trade 1 micro.
Versus Sim.
Yeah, versus Sim, which again I always say you have to earn the right to trade real money. Think about that statement. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you really break it down. But if you just have to, again, every personality is different. Some people are just like, well, I have to do it no matter what because I just get a rush or whatever, fill in the blank. So, but if you have to do it, then what you want to do is at least keep your risk really, 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 really small, so that if you do get railroaded, which when you're new, that happens a lot, unless you get lucky, and lucky doesn't work well in the long term, just keep the risk to an absolute bare minimum, and the barest minimum is to trade 1 micro, where you're basically risking $11 a trade. to win 5, right? So yeah, this is Nikki. This is not really something that anyone should rush through, because it really does work. But you gotta have patience, and you gotta put forth the time, and you gotta let things come to you, because they will. And you see this long enough, day in and day out, it'll things will just start popping out of nowhere for you, and you'll have a lot of aha moments, and then you'll plateau a little bit, and then you'll study some more, and then some more things are going to jump at you, and it's just a rinse and repeat kind of a thing. You can't really do that, Robert, and I really wouldn't focus on that too much. And the only thing with trading in sim is, if you're going to do that, is get your psychological mindset around trading sim as if it was a real live account.
Ron?
Yeah.
I would not consider that a Lorex. I'm sorry, an elevator on YM. Because it's right, you've got that major extra thick wall going right through the middle of it. Lots of spread out order prints, mini magnets, pause, clusters. It's going to chop around in here. It's not just an elevator that's going to keep going. It's going to be choppy. So it's not a good elevator. If it does turn out to be an elevator, it's not one I would want to touch. We're on top of those setups, though. I'm seeing them. Love it. Same thing with RTY. If this sets up here, it does not have HD. It's kind of ugly. It's going into settlement and lots of eye blocks. mini magnets, they were cut off, but then it laid another one. So you're going into another area where it's really highly possible of chop. I wouldn't want to go, if this in RTY, if this current bar would set up, I would not want to take it short.
Okay, sorry, Lloyd. Did I miss something? I had to take a phone call.
I'm just saying RTY was trying to set up short, and I was just explaining why if it did set up, I would not take it. Sometimes I see something, I'm going, yeah, you know, you see something setting up and you just go, yuck, you know, next, and I look at a different chart, but I forget to talk about what I'm seeing and why I don't like something that's setting up, and somebody else might be watching it, waiting for it to set up, and they're like, I'm taking it if it sets up. Well, I'm trying to explain a little bit more on those that I don't like, why not to take them. I'm trying really hard to. It's really hard. I mean, you're seeing it, you're thinking it, but to actually say it, it's harder than you think. I mean, I laugh about talking to myself, but I really don't talk to myself out loud all that much. I guess maybe I need to get in the habit. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been avoiding trying to do that because the last thing I want is you're going to have me committed.
Yeah, well, they'd have to get through my fur babies before they got me, so I don't care. Go ahead and try.
I was going to say something, but it's not that funny, so I'm not going to say anything.
Oh. Glad you think it's helpful. About trading. I don't qualify that one, huh?
There's always a caveat, right, Lori?
Mm-hmm. Now, on this RTY, well, it went away. The mini magnet was 3 and 19, but I was just going to say that was not even close to being enough to take an Inrabar Scalp off that, especially given the circumstances around it. It's right at a, well, green, what is that? It's green ice. And the burger to the left, that was cut off. Lots of mini magnets, lots of, I mean, that kind of does make it good for oscillation, but at the same time, you're going into that. It's not going right directly through it. You were just going into it. So, yeah. Long gone anyway, but it makes it hard to talk about things when the market's moving because it moves so fast. By the time you're done saying what you want, the point you want to make, it's over and you can't see it anymore. And it's like, yeah, that works. Not.
Okay, I'm going to say not yet and probably not, but YM is setting up for an intrabar.
I was looking at the same thing, and I'm like, I actually looked over to see NQ is in an upward.
Right, but it is hitting that rose wall, although it's not as big as the one before.
So you expect a little oscillation there for that. Okay.
Correct.
That makes sense. You're going to get me trained watching the Simplicity yet.
I hold classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Why short is looking good if it closes and holds everything. Well, actually, not so much, because the entry is right again in that ZOI surrounded by mini magnets to the left. It's right in that area, so it could test that and bounce back up. You test it and you're getting in the trade. So while it looks like a really good trade, I gotta admit, I'm a little hesitant.
I also don't like the,
Beautiful setup.
yeah.
It's just the place, its geography sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, NQ just broke through that rose wall. And it's probably going to the 0.25.
Yeah, those order prints I'm talking about could be old. I don't know. I probably have more days loaded than you, so just make note that there is cut off stuff right underneath the green ice. Oh, that's such a pretty setup. I really wish they'd take that and move it somewhere and go a different direction with it, because it's really pretty in RTY. Cluster's not the best, but it's in such an area of chop, and normally the cluster's not in a good space. If it was in that Xbox, I would possibly even maybe think about taking it, but now the cluster's just floating with all the other clusters in the middle of nowhere. And you got chop, chop, chop. It may chop around to get a profit, but I want probabilities, not the possibility. Jan, go into your volume mixer. Should be in your lower right system tray. And turn down the volume for the alerts on your chart. They're down. I got a couple alerts I turned on and I'm not hearing them. Some days that happens, John, and other days we get nothing in the first part, and then it starts to shape up about now. So it kind of seems like it does one or the other. It doesn't, and we had some good setups early. They were fast, but they were good, valid, they worked. So I would tend to think we aren't going to have quite as many toward the end of the morning. But then they can pick up in the afternoon. Never know. Yep, our job is to just wait for that setup to come to us and pounce when it does. wow, you just got out by the skin of your teeth on that one, didn't you? You have to be careful that that wall, talking about your chart, Demario, that wall above you, you took profit right underneath it, which is exactly right. It's not giving you any extra. I mean, usually it's better to have a little bit more room, but in case it doesn't quite turn around at the wall, in case it doesn't quite make it. But yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good setup. Very, very big possibility of chop in that area, but yeah, so you'd have to watch out for that. But it was valid. Oh, Donnelly. Well, that's awesome. You posted a chart, Mario. I mean, I haven't heard anything from you, so yeah, I'm assuming you're new and it's kind of intimidating posting charts. So good job on that. Wow, it's already noon, isn't it? Almost. Alrighty then. I am gonna head out and trade well, guys.
See you, Lori.
Not really into it with me anyway.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, guys, sorry I was silent. I was still here. I was actually in a simplicity short that I got in at right before the session ended at 11:58. Actually, almost 11:59 is when I got in, and got about 117 ticks out of it. So that's why I was muted. I was focusing on that. Sorry. So I will see you guys all later, and I'm gonna try. Well, actually, no. I think we'll do Power Hour today. So I'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll do Power Hour. So I'll post the video. I have the simplicity trade in the tail end of the video, so you could see that. I will see you guys a little bit later. If you're trading between now and Power Hour, then trade well, and I will see you guys this afternoon. Bye-bye.